right, welcome and good evening, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. So again, welcome to our December 16th, 2025 Board of Education meeting. We have all of our trustees present. We have 3 of our 4 student reps with us tonight. So will you please stand and join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, our first agenda item tonight is recognition. Dr. Macheski, you want to introduce
Yes,
Matt?
thank you, Dr. Philpott. Appreciate that. We're very pleased this evening to recognize our state champion boys tennis team from Troy High School. And Mr. Jansen, if you would please come forward.
Dr. Macheski, members of the board, thank you for having us today. The Troy High varsity tennis team completed an undefeated season, capturing the OAA Red Championship, a 13th consecutive regional championship, and the state championship. Motivated by runner-up finishes in each of the past 2 seasons, the team entered the year determined to represent their city with pride. Returning 11 of 12 starters from the 2024 season, the group consistently demonstrated maturity, discipline, and experience throughout the year. The defining lesson of the season was that yesterday's setbacks can become today's success. The players embraced that mindset from day one, and their commitment was ultimately rewarded with a state championship. Please join me in welcoming head coach Brian Miska and the 2025 MHSAA state champion, Troy Colts. Come on up, gentlemen. Captains, right on up here. They might have a few questions for you.
So while we do have certificates for you gentlemen, there may be a few questions from board members.
Any board members, any questions for this state champion team? I guess I'll start with a question. So, you know, we were introduced by saying you used your setbacks from last year to motivate you this year. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, I mean, for the past, 2-3 years that a bunch of us have been on this team, we've fallen short to a very strong competitor, Bloomfield Hills. They've always had a really good team, and it's kind of driven us every single year to try and compete and make ourselves get better and, beat them every single year. And so finally, we had the chance this year to finally take that win.
Great. Congratulations. Go ahead.
Do you guys have any memorable moments from this year?
Anyone want to share?
A few if you can share.
I'm sure there's a bunch. We've had this little, not ritual, but like the little thing that we've been doing this year where after every home match or every away match, we'll go and get some dinner together and we'll go hang out and make some jokes, have fun, eat a lot of food. It's become a little, one of my
Bonding
memories of the
exercise.
season, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the bonding exercise kind of thing.
Any memories?
How do you guys like the new tennis courts?
Oh yeah, they're incredible.
Yeah.
Did that help?
I'm sure it did, yeah.
So how many of you are seniors and how many of you will be back on next year's team? So who are the seniors? Okay.
10 out of 18.
10 out of 18. Are you going to try to play tennis in college or do it as a club sport or?
I'm probably playing club. I'm sure there's a handful of others who also probably end up playing club too.
Yeah.
There you go.
So it's a passion for you and something you think you'll continue on in
Yeah,
life.
even beyond college for sure,
Mhm.
yeah.
Good. Well, it's a great sport.
Most of these guys are good enough to play in college tennis. The thing is, when you get to college, if you want to play, they all want to go to University of Michigan or go here or go there. So those schools are obviously
Yeah.
competing against the world, right?
Yeah.
They're all phenomenal players. The depth on our team, when we talk about like just the guys who are towards the bottom of our lineup, these guys have been won singles at 99% of the state, instead of 99% of the state. And it just shows the biggest thing I want to say about this team is the lack of egos.
Mhm.
When you have 18 incredible players and you have guys that are good enough to play one singles, or I got a guy at 3 singles who's like top 100 Midwest, right? I mean, it's just, and ridiculous, and I don't get any complaints from them. They all want to do what's best for the team. No one, out of all these guys, the thing I'm most proud of is none of them believe they're above the team, which is really, you don't get that all the time. I've had a lot of national ranked kids at Troy High, but with this group of kids, it's like, wow, they have no egos. They just care about the team. They care about representing you guys in the city, and that was kind of our goal. We wanted to sign on long legs so people can all. That was our mantra this year. That was our motivating factor. So it's a great group of kids that I think they did a great job representing our school.
So, well, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right.
So we have some certificates.
So we have some certificates for you. We'd like to make sure that you get those, number one, and then also when you get that certificate, if you could come over here, just kind of ring the table, and we'll get a picture when we're done. All right?
Anyone want to read the names or should I read the names?
It's up to you. Want me to read them? You can read them.
Saurish Darudi,
All right, Sarish. There you go.
Vincent Gatto,
Sarish, why don't you come right over there? Start the line right over there. There you go.
Krish Gupta,
Right over there, next to him. There you go.
Jesse Howe,
We'll get you all in there.
Jonathan Young, Radha Karur, Yom Kashi, Jyotiraditya Kashyap, Terry Kim, Solomon Kim, Jackson Cross, Neil Nagapalla, Nikhil Nair, Varun Sethi, Zain Kaki, Nathan Wanstreet, Anthony Wu, Dheeraj Lavedi,
Why don't a couple of you come in here, like this one, overlap two rows, do 2 rows.
There, you're on.
Do a couple more.
fill in. So stagger yourselves a little bit. Not too far out.
But just your eyes.
You're okay. There you go.
Congratulations again, Coach Miska and the state champion boys tennis team from Troy High School. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. You are free to leave if you wish to do so. We're not going to keep you here. We know it's a busy time of the year.
Yep.
Sorry, I stole in front of that.
No, I'm good. Good job.
I wasn't sure who should be. I just did.
Okay, we are going to continue on with our meeting. Dr. Machewski, any additions or deletions tonight?
There are none this evening?
Public communication on agenda items.
We have one public communication on non-agenda items.
Okay, we'll hold that till the end then. So our next item of interest of business is to approve the items on the general consent agenda. Tonight's consent agenda includes minutes of the November 11th, 2025 Board of Education workshop, minutes of the November 18th, 2025 Board of Education meeting, the October 2025 Treasurers Report, AP French and Spanish resource approval, and Schools of Choice, Section 105, 105C. May I have a resolution, please? Mr. Hopp.
Be it therefore resolved that the Troy Board of Education takes action to approve items A, B, C, D, and E of the consent agenda.
Support.
Okay, we have a resolution by Mr. Hopp, supported by Ms. Alish. Is there any comment or discussion on these items?
No discussion, but just a comment. Is it good? I just want to comment for general public that one of the items in the consent agenda is actually we are opening up 100 spots for School of Choice for next year, just for information's sake. That's it.
Okay. Okay, anything else? Okay. All those in favor of the resolution, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed, say no. Okay, thank you. Motion carries. Our next item is personnel. Mr. Pagel.
Good evening, Dr. Macheski and members of the board. This evening for personnel, we have the consideration of an administrative appointment for the position of Supervisor of Data and Research. I am pleased to recommend the appointment of Dr. Jordan Dennis to the position of Supervisor of Data and Research. Dr. Dennis began his professional career as a classroom teacher in Novi and Northville before transitioning to Oxford Community Schools, where he served as an instructional coach, program coordinator, assistant principal, and principal. He is a proud MSU Spartan and spent 11 years as a student at Michigan State University. Dr. Dennis holds a bachelor's in history education, a master's in educational technology, and in 2023, he submitted his dissertation on the impacts of unfilled teacher vacancies and what they have on urban school districts to earn his doctorate in education leadership. With your approval, Dr. Dennis will formally begin his supervisor position at Services beginning January 5th, 2026.
Okay, thank you. We have a resolution to approve our new Supervisor of Data and Research. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Innie?
Be it therefore resolved that the Board of Education issues a 2-year probationary administrative contract without tenure in the administrative position to Dr. Jordan Dennis, who will begin his duties as Supervisor, Data and Research, effective January 5th, 2026.
We have a resolution by Ms. Innie, supported by Mr. Hopp. Is there any discussion or question on this resolution? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor of the resolution, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed, say no. Motion carries, and thank you very much. Congratulations, Dr. Dennis.
We have Dr. Dennis here with us this evening, and I think he's brought his wife along with him. So.
Okay.
Yes.
I did bring my wonderful wife, Allie Dennis, along with me, who is my backbone and support in this entire process. But I just wanted to say that I am honored to be here in front of you tonight. I'm incredibly grateful for this opportunity, and I'm just thrilled and excited to join Troy School District's educational community. I'm very excited to utilize some of the skills that I have developed throughout my doctoral program, Master's in Educational Technology, and throughout my professional career, and just to utilize them to the best of my ability to service this community and support with the data analysis and the visualizations and, well, as any other duties as assigned, I suppose. So, just again, very excited to be here, and I'm excited to join in January, and I can't wait to start.
Well, thank you, and welcome aboard. We're very excited to have you, particularly somebody who gets so excited about data. I was telling him, for some of you before he came, that this board loves data, so he's going to be very popular. Any questions or comments from anyone else on the board?
We're just excited to have you join the team.
Yeah.
Equally
So,
excited to be here.
well, congratulations.
Excited to have you.
Great. Okay, moving on. Any curriculum tonight?
There is no curriculum this evening.
Okay, then we will move into business.
Good evening, Board of Education. Tonight on the agenda are 4 items for your consideration. The first one being the food service equipment purchase. So this purchase is kind of an extension of the construction over the summer where we updated the Troy High kitchen and serving line area. This will add a slat wall that will kind of surround the new equipment inside of the cafeteria. So it'll create somewhat of a little bit of a marketplace for the students to go where they can get a la carte items. So this will just kind of put that cherry on top, so to speak, to the new Troy High kitchen. So the total amount for this purchase, we did get 3 competitive quotes. The lowest bid came in at $37,455 to Stafford Smith, and this would be funded out of the food service fund. Pending your approval, it would be ordered and hopefully installed over the holiday break here. So.
Okay, thank you. We're being asked to consider a resolution on the purchase of food service equipment for Troy High. May I have a resolution, please? Ms. Potts?
Be it therefore resolved that the purchase of a slat wall enclosure be awarded to Stafford Smith in the amount of $37,455, and that this amount be approved as an expenditure of the food service fund.
Support.
We have a resolution by Ms. Potts, supported by Ms. Anay. Any discussion or questions on this item? I know we discussed this at the workshop, so. Okay, hearing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes, opposed, say no. Okay, thank you, motion carries. Next item, Dan?
Next item on the agenda for consideration relates to the electrical and utility gear pre-purchase. So we did issue an RFP and we obtained competitive bids, and this will be for the pre-purchase of the core electrical equipment for the Bowling Park Middle School renovation, the Athens High addition, and then we also had an alternate that we will be accepting pending your approval for Larson Middle School as well to get that piece of equipment ordered, just to ensure that not only do we get it in on time given the long lead times, but also securing lower pricing today as opposed to a year from now. So we will place those orders and get those going. It ranges from 6 to 10 months. It just depends on the item, but if we do get things in early, we do have the ability to house that in the meantime. So low bid came in to O'Donnell Electric in the amount of $587,874, and this would be funded through the Capital Projects Fund.
Okay, great, thanks. We're being asked to consider pre-purchase of electrical and utility gear for the renovations of our 2 middle schools and high school. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Zendler?
Be it therefore resolved that the bid for electrical equipment pre-purchase be awarded to O'Donnell Electric in the amount of $587,874, and that this amount be approved as an expenditure of the Capital Projects Fund.
Support.
We have a resolution by Ms. Zendler, supported by Mr. Haupt. Any comments or discussion on this item? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of the purchase, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes, opposed, say no. Thank you, motion carries.
And the third item on the agenda for consideration is the 2026 roof replacement project. So this is a typical annual project that we do. We have a plan across the district to address each building over a 10 to 15 year period. So this specifically relates to work at Barnard, Leonard, Morris, and Wass Elementaries, and then we do have some roofing restoration at a couple other buildings, but not full roof replacement. So we try to keep things up as we go as well. So we work with WeatherTech Consulting Group. They kind of specialize in roofing projects, so they're our roofing consultant on this project, so they reviewed all of the bids. So total bids with contingency came in at $939,829.80. We will fund this both from the Capital Projects Fund and from the sinking fund as well.
Okay, thank you. So we're being asked to consider allocation of resources for roof replacements for next year. May I have a resolution, please? Dr. Melton?
Be it therefore resolved that the bid roof replacement be awarded as follows, and that this amount be approved as an expenditure of the Capital Projects Fund and Building Site and Sinking Funds. Great Lakes Roofing for Morse Elementary in the amount of $371,061. MTD Construction for Barnard Elementary in the amount of $207,000. Royal West Roofing for Leonard and Wass Elementaries in the amount of $283,700. Shana Roofing and Sheet for a restoration package in the amount of $33,315. Contingency amount, $44,753.80 for a total of $939,829.80.
Support.
We have a resolution by Dr. Melton, supported by Ms. Alish. Any comments or discussion on this item?
I was just going to comment that the contingency is about 5%. I know usually we see it as a percent, but that's a little bit lower than
Yeah,
typical.
this project being just roofing is a little safer, so historically you can go to that 5% mark. Site work might be upwards of 10, but.
Okay. Okay. All in favor of the resolution, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed, say no. Thank you. Motion carries. And our last item?
Last item for consideration is for paving projects across the district. So like roofing projects, we have a 10-year plan in place where we go through the district each year and we address various buildings across the district. So we issued an RFP. We were able to solicit low bids for work at Costello, Hill, and Martell Elementaries, and then we will also have some work done at Troy High and the preschool. So the total bid package is proposed to be awarded to Nagel Paving in the amount of $3,367,085, and this would also be funded between the capital projects and sinking funds as well.
Great. Okay, we're being asked to consider a resolution for approval of resources on site work and paving projects. May I have a resolution, please? Okay, Ms. Anay.
Be therefore resolved that the bid for site work paving projects be awarded to Nagel Paving in the amount of $3,367,085, and that this amount be approved as an expenditure of the Capital Projects Fund and Building Site and Sinking Funds.
Support.
We have a resolution by Ms. Anay, supported by Ms. Alish. Any discussion on this item?
Oh, I do have just a
Question? Go ahead.
Will all these be able to be done during the spring and summer?
Yes, that's the plan.
Okay, anything else? Okay, all those in favor of the resolution, please say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, say no. All right, thank you. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Trudell. All right, that concludes business. Now we will move on to public communication on 9 agenda items. Mr. Panedian, will you come up and address us, please?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Last week, I spent some time reading through the quarterly newsletter posted on the official district website. This newsletter is published by the DEI department. It shows calendars that list a wide variety of observances and holidays for every month. For some holidays like Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and Diwali and Kwanzaa, it has multiple paragraphs that describe in detail the meaning of each holiday. What about Christmas? The newsletter doesn't have a single sentence dedicated exclusively to explaining the meaning of Christmas. Considering that the vast majority of families and students in the district profess to be Christians and celebrate Christmas, you would think that the inclusion department would be more inclusive of Christianity. Every single person in our city, our country, and our world deserves to hear about the true meaning of Christmas. When most people think of Christmas, they think of lights, gifts, family, food, and traditions. Those things can be beautiful, but Christmas didn't begin as a holiday. It began actually as a rescue mission. Christmas is really about God, Yahweh, the one and only true God, stepping into the world he created. The Bible teaches that God saw humanity struggling, broken relationships, guilt, fear, and a deep sense that something isn't right. Instead of remaining distant, God chose to come close. He sent his only son, Jesus Christ, not as a king in a palace, but as a baby born into poverty. That tells us something important. God is not far away, and he understands real life. Jesus grew up and lived a sinless life, one marked by love, truth, compassion, and integrity. He showed people what God is like. He healed all who were sick and hurting, welcomed the rejected, and offered forgiveness instead of condemnation. His message was simple but radical. God loves you and he wants to restore you. But Christmas doesn't make sense without the cross. Jesus didn't just come to teach, he came to save. He willingly gave his life, taking on the weight of human sin and brokenness. He died so that those who feel lost, guilty, or separated from God could be forgiven and made whole and new. And the story doesn't end in death. Jesus rose from the dead, proving that sin and death do not have the final word. His resurrection offers hope, real hope, that life can be changed, that forgiveness is possible, and that death is not the end. So Christmas is not just about a baby in a manger. It's about God saying to the world, I love you enough to come for you. It's an invitation to hope, to forgiveness, and to new life through Jesus. This is what Christmas is really all about. It's all about Jesus. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to you as well. Okay, we will go on to our other. We do have one formal agenda item in other before we move into our roundtable, and that is to approve the resolution that is being proposed from Oakland Schools. I guess I don't really have the resolution, but let me go through here. So we are being asked to approve two resolutions from Oakland Schools. Do you have those? Yeah. But I need to read what those are, and I don't have those in front of me. Okay, so the two proposed resolutions. Proposed resolution number 1 is to support, along with Oakland County School Board Association, nonpartisan school board elections. The rationale for this resolution is that public education, regardless of which side of the aisle that you sit on, should be a nonpartisan activity, and we are encouraging people to participate on the board who really have the best interest of students and public education at heart. I guess we will do these one at a time, although I think we probably are in support of both. But may I have a motion to approve the first resolution, which is having this board support nonpartisan school board elections?
So moved.
Yes, so I'll make that. Okay, so I'll make the motion. Ms. Zendler is supporting that motion. Any discussion on this? Okay, all those in favor of supporting that resolution, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed, say no. Okay. And then the second resolution is to support full funding of Early On Michigan, which is an early intervention program for infants and toddlers from birth to age 3 with disabilities, developmental delays, or at risk for delays due to certain health conditions. And the rationale for this proposal is that this is, first of all, consistent with Michigan law to say that all students deserve the services that they need for an appropriate education provided from birth through age 25. And the criticality of these kind of intervention programs for students with special needs, which will help to make them successful, get a good start in early childhood, and then throughout the rest of their education. So I will make the proposal that we support this resolution for full funding of Early On Michigan.
I'll make the motion.
Okay. Support?
Supports.
Okay, so the resolution's by Ms. Ane, supported by Mr. Hopp. Any discussion or further comment on this? Okay, all those in favor of this resolution, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed, say no. Okay, motion carries, and we will pass that information on to the Oakland County School Board Association. Again, our member districts are all having the opportunity to vote on that, and then that will be appropriately sent to Lansing. Okay, with that, it's now time to hear from our students. And so tonight we're going to start on this side of the table. So Sarah, I will start with you. What's going on at Athens?
I'm extremely excited to discuss what has been going on at Athens High School recently. In November, 120 students were inducted into the Omega chapter of the National Honor Society, which is very exciting. Since the last school board meeting, winter sports hit the ground running. Most notably, our wrestling team defeated Troy High 66-14 at the meet last Wednesday. Athens also had 2 holiday concerts last week. Band performed on the 9th, while our orchestra performed on the 11th. Stuco hosted 2 very successful drives this December. During the holiday blood drive, we had 27 units of blood donated, which will help and assist over 80 people.
Wow.
During the holiday gift card drive, over $1,500 in gift cards were donated to help families during the holiday season. A huge thanks to the Athens community for making these drives so successful. Our newsletter has been updated to being released weekly, which I was told was very important. We are also looking forward to the upcoming break and hope that everyone has a safe and restful 2 weeks off. We are excited for what the new year will bring, and I'm excited to get to 2026.
Yeah, great. Lots going on, but everybody is looking forward to break.
Yes.
Bella, how about you? Troy High.
Good evening, everyone. As we head into the holiday season, December has been a busy and meaningful month at Troy High. We have been giving back, showing leadership, and finishing the semester strong across academics, activities, and arts. Today, Student Government and Leadership hosted a middle school leadership conference at Troy High. About 120 middle school students from across the district attended, so we did have middle schoolers from every single middle school attend. And we had over 40 Troy High leadership students running the event. Middle school leaders rotated through 5 different cabins. The conference was camp themed, so that's what we call the breakout rooms.
Okay.
Each cabin was led by Troy High students and focused on leadership skills, team building, and preparing them for high school. The conference was entirely student-led and planned, and we are very proud of the outcome. I personally had a lot of fun facilitating collaboration with the middle schoolers in my overalls and Birkenstocks today. Building on that theme, the Model United Nations also hosted a middle school conference this Saturday. Students learned about diplomacy, practiced debate skills, and connected with peers while getting an early look at high school Model UN. Model UN hosts these monkey conferences very often throughout the year. We try to aim for like one every quarter. Along with leadership, this week has also been fun for school spirit. Today was actually the 75th day of school and also the 75th and it's also the 75th anniversary of Troy High. So we all came wearing our blackout shirts. Tomorrow is Snow White Whiteout Day, and we'll end the week with a festive Christmas Mayhem Day on Friday. This month has also been centered around service. Peer Mediation has been hosting a toy drive throughout December. These donations will help make the holiday season brighter for our families and our community. Quiz Bowl has started the season with a strong momentum. They competed at the University of Michigan Autumn Classic and placed second. And then earlier in the season, they competed at Michigan State University. They split into 2 groups. One placed 10th and the other placed 13th. Tomorrow, Green Space Club is partnering with LEAP leaders to conduct a lunch waste audit. So hopefully we'll get a better understanding of Troy High's waste footprint, I guess. 10 members of the girls swim team qualified for the state finals held at Oakland University, and we're very proud of all of them. December has also been a very busy month for performing arts. 8 Troy High musicians were selected through auditions to perform at the Michigan Music Conference in Grand Rapids, and including members of All-State Band and All-State Jazz Ensemble. Additionally, 7 orchestra students were selected through a statewide audition process to perform at the same conference as well. Overall, we're just very excited that December highlighted our leadership service and school spirit, and we thank you for your continued support and wish everyone a very happy holidays.
Great, thank you. Okay, Chloe, TCCHS.
Well, before I happy early holidays, everybody. And it's been a very calm past few weeks at Troy College and Career, but never too calm. And since I already started the holiday talk, I might as well follow up with our annual TCC Thanksgiving Feast, which is so special to us given the variety of circumstances and situations of our students. Though all the laughs and smiles make it worth the while. Plus all the turkey and pie, of course. But following Thanksgiving, we have all of our Christmas and holiday events, such as the Holiday Helpers, formerly known as the think it was Adopt a Family, where every year the staff chooses a family to sponsor and we collectively purchase items off of a provided list in order to ensure the best Christmas morning possible. Another charity-like event, the Oakland Police Department Coat Drive, really got students motivated and in the holiday spirit. 12 of us loaded up all of our collected coats and got to work as soon as we arrived. Organizing, going through, and bagging all of the coats, gloves, scarves, and hats, all in just under 2 hours, which is very impressive it was a humongous warehouse, and it was like all boarded up, and it was full of coats, and not even just hats and gloves, like a bunch of other random clothes. Like, I swear, people were just emptying out their closets and donating stuff, so it was very impressive for the 2 hours. We were supposed to be there for 4 hours, so I just wanted to throw that in there. I'm very proud of us. Then lastly, in the holiday department, coming up this Friday, we have our Christmas celebration ran by Student Council. If you guys can't tell by now, we take holidays pretty seriously, where we are going to have food, karaoke, games, a movie, and all kinds of team bonding and building activities. As always, I will report at the next meeting how that went. While all us students are getting antsy for the long break coming up, the staff helped all grades regain focus by having a separate assembly for all grades to inform, prepare, and answer any questions about the SAT, ACT, PSAT, graduation speeches, and anything under those categories. Other honorable mentions: a week ago, December 9th, our Women of Tomorrow team participated in a group yoga meditation class where we were very blessed to be able to have a real yoga instructor from Lifetime Gym, thanks to our mentors and head teacher, Miss G. And all of us girls have a deeper mind-to-body connection, inner calm, self-awareness, balance, and overall relaxed mind. It was so impactful that I know at least 5 other girls, including myself, that want to do a weekly class together. Then, lastly, but definitely not least, Miss Leonard and her human impact classes are really making their impact in our community. Partnering with Sakra to add and put in place tons of recycling bins and systems all throughout the building. Thank you for listening, and again, happy holidays from TCC.
Great. Thank you, Chloe. Well, it sounds like all of our high schools are really finishing the year strong, lots going on, so our students certainly deserve a couple of weeks of rest and break. Ms. Zendler, any roundtable?
A very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to our community, and what I'm sure is going to be a good and restful break. And a note, if any of you on the board or in the audience have yet to see, there was a press release yesterday. There was a literacy summit with a new state superintendent who began work last week, who we got to see, many of us got to see at the MASB conference in October. He and his team from Dearborn presented. There's a joint press release yesterday, Governor Whitmer and the new state superintendent. The entire focus of the press release was literacy, improving literacy, making sure our teachers get appropriate literacy training to be ready for the science of reading as the laws roll into place. So if you're a data nerd, something good to read. If you're not, you should read it anyway.
Great.
Merry Christmas.
Great, thank you. Ms. Potts?
I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Just going to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And I know that the holidays are a time of reflection. I know some people have a difficult time during the holidays. I'm probably one of them who struggle a little bit, missing family members who should be here with us. I do want to reflect a little bit about stuff that's been happening in the world. Certainly something that's not foreign to our community as well. Not Troy specifically, but in Metro Detroit. I'm sure everybody heard about the shooting in Australia and the rise in anti-Semitism. And, at a time where everyone should be celebrating the holidays, we have to be aware that there are people who are full of hate, intolerance, and, the Troy School District is always about inclusivity, no matter what anybody up at the podium is trying to preach. So, not to put a damper on anybody, but I just want to wish everybody happy holidays, and everybody from the Jewish community, and the non-religious communities, you know, you're all welcome here. And I wish everybody a happy and safe holiday season.
Thank you. Dr. Melton?
Happy holidays to everybody as well. I'm going to piggyback a little bit on what Ms. Zendler talked about, the Reading Literacy Summit. Of course, Governor Whitmer said that literacy in terms of education is her #1 priority for this coming last year of her term. And then, of course, our new superintendent said reading is his top priority as well, which I've been thinking a lot about a conversation that I had recently with a 2022 graduate of Troy School District who is a friend of my oldest son. And it comes to mind because we've talked about earlier in the year, we had Kim St. Martin come from MDE and talk a little bit about reading and structured literacy versus balanced literacy. And the question came up of, you know, where are these kids at now? You know, it seems like they're fine. And that there's more than one way to teach reading, which there is, but if the way we're using is not helping everyone, then we need to look at other options, which is kind of what we're approaching with the new laws coming up. And when I was talking to him, he's in his 4th year at OCC, still trying to find a program that he can find success in because of his inability to read more complex material. So when we talk about kind of where are they at and are they fine, I think we have to think about what is your definition of fine. And to me, not being able to read complex material to find success in college is not fine. But I think there's some things that our other board members might not realize in terms of special education when kids move from high school to college. I guess, supports that they typically have in high school don't go with them. It's a different setting. So in middle school and high school here, we don't have interventions that are teaching kids to decode because we're assuming that they already know how to do that. So that in and of itself is a problem. But then in their IEPs, we accommodate them to success. So we say, okay, here's, you know, all of our books are available on audio. They can listen to it so that they can get the information. The tests can be read to them, whether it's a standardized test that they have an automatic reader, or they can go to a support room and have someone read the test to them. But that goes away when they go to college. So they're left with, like in this particular circumstance, the young man wanted to be a mechanic. He had to read manuals. He had to take the certification tests. He couldn't do it, not because he didn't know how to do it on a car. He couldn't read the materials to be successful. So I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention because I think we need to think about what is okay and how do we make sure that our kids leaving us aren't in situations like that. And I think identifying kids early is critical to that. And we do that through appropriate assessments and data. So I'm super excited you're here. You know, my hope is that with the proper screeners moving forward, we're going to catch these kids earlier, have appropriate interventions, tier 1 instruction that's going to help all of our kids. And that over time, we're going to see situations where stories like this we're not hearing anymore. So, thank you.
Great. Mr. Hupp?
So again, happy holidays to everybody. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, all of that. I did want to call out, we get a newsletter every once in a while as a school board from the Girl Bots of Larson.
Yes.
I wanted to call them out because they just recently were at a Michigan State competition this past weekend, I believe.
Yeah, I saw that.
And they brought home a first place award, and they were ranked 15th overall, which I think was excellent. And just looking through the newsletter, all of their stuff is super pink, and I love it. And they just do a lot of good work in the community. So I just wanted to give them a shout out because they deserve it.
Great. Ms. Alish?
I just want to wish everybody happy holidays, happy new year.
I did mention this at the workshop, but I wanted to mention it here as well. I want to thank Chris Griefer and Harleen, the principal at Bemis. We did have a school visit 2 weeks ago, and kind of goes along with the literacy. So we had the opportunity to see a first grade and a third grade classroom, and to see some of the updated curriculum that was approved last year, to see some of that in action. And so, hopefully we'll keep moving in that direction. But it was really nice to see some of that being implemented.
Okay, Ms.
Okay. Before I wish everybody the happy holidays, this is our last meeting for the year, so it's a time for reflection to me. And I was reading it, and Ed Week has a word of the year for 2025, and it's called dismantle for education. So we started the year with pretty much call for dismantling public education or Department of Education at the federal level, where our funding is cut down to less than 10 cents per dollar spent in public education. Wanted to highlight that, and that's how we started the year. At the state level, our budget was a little better. Our final budget, though it was late and it wasn't perfect, we at least got some increases in the per pupil funding and some additional resources to meet our at-risk students. Locally, at our district, we started the year with 3 new amazing board members. We made some many major progresses. We had our new cell phone policy, which was, I think, a great success, which most of our students and parents and everybody seemed to like it. We had approved our writing curriculum, which needed additional stuff like grammar, and which, like Amina mentioned, we had a chance to go and see in person in the classrooms and how this new curriculum is being taught, and the new additions are definitely helping the students. Our bond projects are making major progress overall, amazing progress at Smith, and all the amazing athletic fields at all our high schools. They look great. Some small setbacks here and there, but overall amazing year. But we still have a lot of work to do in many areas, such as we still haven't had our late high school start times. We're still working on it. We have a lot of work to do for next year. We also were partially able to resolve our students' double splits, but not completely. We have major work ahead of us with reducing our achievement gap, especially in our at-risk student groups. And finally, we also have to tackle the topic of AI, which is everywhere in the world nowadays, and we have to figure out what to do in our schools and our policy. So a lot of work ahead of us. So what I would do now is wish everybody Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays to everybody. Rest up, enjoy a great break with your family, and come back energized.
Great. Thank you for that wonderful summary. Dr. Macheski.
Yes, Dr. Philippart, just a reminder that when we return from break, January 19th at 8:30 a.m. is the citywide Martin Luther King Day of Service. All the community is welcome to attend. Look forward to seeing as many as possible at Athens, starting at 8:30 with breakfast. There'll be a presentation, short presentation, and from there we'll move into several opportunities for service activities. It is if you haven't had a chance to go, it is always well attended, and I think when folks leave, they feel thankful that they've spent some time with community members, with family, and a small opportunity to give back on a day when others may be out of work. Everyone's out of school, but working together creates a great sense of pride within the community. So encourage everyone to come on out for the day of service. And other than that, just wishing everyone a happy holiday.
Okay, great. Well, I will close. First of all, I really want to thank my board members. I think, Ms. Ine, you did a great job of kind of summarizing, the accomplishments, the challenges, the opportunities ahead of us. But I, again, really want to thank, half of our board was new. But again, our 3 board members just jumped into this with energy, passion. I don't think I've ever seen board trustees complete as much training in such a short time as you all did. So it gives me a lot of confidence that we will hit 2026 running, and we will be up to the challenges ahead of us. So please, everyone, have a wonderful holiday, a well-deserved break. Happy 2026. And we will see you our next workshop. So we start with a workshop in January, and it is January 13th, which will be 6 o'clock here in this building, and then followed a week later with our normal board meeting. And then our normal board meeting on the 20th will be preceded by an organizational meeting. That will be very interesting for, I'm sure, the public to hear, but we have to kind of establish our officers for the year. We have to establish our committee assignments and so on. So it'll be really some housekeeping work that we will do, and then we'll get into our normal board meeting. So with that, if there is no further business, we will adjourn this meeting. Again, happy holidays to everybody, happy New Year, and we will see you on January 13th. Thank you.